You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's have a look at Pakistan and talk about their performance in this 2023 World Cup in India. Well, another disappointing Cricket World Cup for Pakistan. A very typical Pakistan performance, especially in the World Cup. They had an opportunity to qualify for the semis. They were challenged. In the end, they didn't quite overcome that challenge to qualify for the semi-finals. So their result in this World Cup, they finished in 5th place in the group stage. And that was their result in this World Cup in 2023. In the group stage, they won 4 games and lost 5 out of the 9. Leading run scorer was Mohammad Rizwan with 395 runs. Leading wicket taker was Shaheen Shah Afridi with 18 wickets. Their results in the group stage were as follows. They won against the Netherlands by 81 runs. They won against Sri Lanka by 6 wickets. They lost to India by 7 wickets. They lost to Australia by 62 runs. They lost to Afghanistan by 8 wickets. They lost to South Africa by 1 wicket. They won against Bangladesh by 7 wickets. They won against New Zealand by 21 runs on Duckworth-Lewis method. And the last game against England, they lost by 93 runs. So that just tells you the story about Pakistan in this World Cup. Very inconsistent, and in the end, couldn't get the job done. And the problem for Pakistan in this World Cup is that when they lost those four games in a row, when they lost against India, Australia, Afghanistan, and that was another shock loss, and South Africa, they lost 4 games on the trot. You know, it was very hard for them to recover and come back from that to qualify for the semis. But they gave it a good go, I suppose. They won against Bangladesh. They won against New Zealand. The weather helped them out of that game, obviously. But the last game, the net run rate wasn't their friend. They had to make up a load of runs. They had to beat England by a convincing margin to go into the top 4. It didn't help when New Zealand won against Sri Lanka for them. And unfortunately, Pakistan, pretty much were out of it. So they gave themselves too much to do. And they put that on themselves, really, because they didn't play good enough cricket and they lost games which they shouldn't have lost, and they shouldn't have lost key games in key moments. And that was the problem. And that's why Pakistan struggled in this World Cup. Babar Azam didn't have the World Cup that Pakistan would have hoped. He struggled as captain as well. Obviously, now he's resigned as captain. He's no longer captain of Pakistan now because he's stood down from that, following the fallout from this World Cup. So they did struggle, Pakistan. Their batting struggled as a unit. Their bowling struggled. Their seamers and their spinners. Their spinners in particular struggled as well, especially in these conditions in India and the subcontinent. You expect the spinners to do well, but they struggled. So no one really clicked. The team didn't really click. There was no cohesion, no consistency in their cricket. And that's where they were pretty much let down, really. In every department of the game, they were poor. Also, their fielding was pretty poor as well at times. We saw some good performances in the field by Pakistan, but other times their fielding was poor. They dropped catches, and they misfielded. They didn't have a great time of it in the field at times. So it goes back to what I said. It was another typical Pakistan performance in a World Cup, which was really up and down, and no one really clicked. So nothing more to say about Pakistan, really. It was a very poor Cricket World Cup, and they'll be very disappointed about their performance, Pakistan. They could have done better, and they've got some good players. They've got some players who are talented and skilled. But unfortunately, during this World Cup, they weren't able to get the job done. They weren't able to win when they needed to. And that was their problem in this World Cup. They just didn't click as a team, and they'll be bitterly disappointed with their performance in this World Cup. Thanks to everyone who tuned into our ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 coverage over these last few weeks. It's been great fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have bringing it to you. If you're watching or listening to this episode of the podcast on our YouTube channel, Let us know in the comments your thoughts on Pakistan's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 campaign. We would love to hear what you have to say.